From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Parents at a southern Tasmanian primary school are being forced to pick up their children early due to a lack of in-class support. The prep cohort has been subject to several staff changes, with concerns growing that a lack of consistency is impacting young students.
Confronted with a troubling start to their children's schooling year, these Gagebrook parents are feeling left behind.
The lack of support, I've had to go over to physically do the TA's job so my child can enter the classroom to help him with his basic needs.
On top of the prep room being without a stable teacher so far this term, there's a desperate need for more teachers' aides to help students with complex needs.
If he does not have one, he is sent home. I've had him sent home as early as 9:30 in the morning before.
There's so much learning that happens in prep. They need stability. They need to have that same routine in their classroom week to week, and that hasn't been happening here.
It's the latest trouble emerging inside Tasmanian schools, while the government remains locked in to negotiations with the workforce.
In the latest offer, the government has removed 10 social workers that could work here at Gagebrook Primary, meeting the challenges that our students face.
Teachers from across the state will descend on the doorstep of decision makers this Friday to demand extra support hours in the classroom, in a move the Education Minister has labelled as disappointing.
The commitment that the government gives is that we are working as hard as we can on the national plan in conjunction with the federal government to try and work out how we can train more teachers as quickly as possible.
As hard-hit parents issue a desperate plea.
The Education Department need to pick up their act and offer more training so that the children, the teachers and the schools can help everyone.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A Speedway driver remains in the Royal Hobart Hospital tonight following a serious crash at the New Norfolk track last night. The 34-year-old sustained head and neck injuries when the incident occurred during the first lap of a race. Tasmania Police is investigating and workplace safety has been notified. It comes just days after a separate nasty motorsport smash left another man with serious injuries. A man has been nabbed driving at more than 6 times over the legal limit in Kingborough. Our reporter Grace Evans is live from the Hobart Magistrates Court, and Grace, the 47-year-old, will now have to face the consequences.
That's right, Murph. The man is due to appear in court. Later. He was charged with exceeding the prescribed alcohol limit and driving without a licence. Now, he was nabbed by Kingston Police late last night and returned a blood alcohol reading of 0.315. The alarm was initially raised by a concerned resident who reported the incident. Police have described the behaviour as reckless, and he will remain off our roads, issued with an immediate 24-month disqualification notice. Murph?
Thanks very much, Grace. Grace Evans there at the Hobart Magistrates Court. There has been a dramatic rescue from a fly fishing competition in the Meander River this afternoon. I'm joined by reporter McKenna Bailey now. McKenna, what happened out there today?
Murphy, it's understood a participant's leg became stuck between rocks while walking up the river. Despite efforts of those on scene to help her, the rock was unable to be moved, leaving her pinned for more than 2 hours before calling for help. Paramedics, Tasmania Fire Service, SES and Tasmania Police helped with the retrieval before transporting her across the river by stretcher. The rescue helicopter winched the patient on board. She was taken to the Launceston General Hospital with non-serious injuries. Murph.
Thanks, McKenna. Lucky there were people around to help her. More than 3,000 runners spent the morning storming across an iconic piece of Tasmanian infrastructure, the Tasman Bridge, marking the halfway point for this year's 10-kilometre Run the Bridge event. Competitors racing from Blunston Arena to Prince's Wharf for large cash prizes. The event also raising money for Canteen and Rotary, and will have full coverage and the winners later in the bulletin. The proposed Lagana Primary School is one step closer, with Voss Construction awarded the building tender. Provisional works are already underway. The state government is still confident the development will be complete by 2025. The original 2024 target was delayed because of construction schedules.
What we're able to do by announcing that we've awarded these contracts is give the Laguna community some certainty going forward that the new school will be ready for 2025, 2026.
The school will cater for more than 300 students. Tasmanians have come out in droves to support Hobart's second Melanoma March. The 4-kilometre walk is part of a campaign hoped to kill the glamorisation of tanning culture, as Tasmania's incident rates soar higher than both Victoria and South Australia.
We've seen rates in younger adults begin to increase again, and generally it's because of what's being portrayed in the media with a lot of tanning culture, a lot of sunburns being shown.
Tanning is your skin's in trauma, and it's the start of bad things for melanoma.
The event raising nearly $12,000 to support Australia's first clinical trial into patients' anxiety of cancer recurrence. Australian motorsport legend Sir Jack Brabham is being remembered decades on from his unique 1963 Grand Prix race in Longford. Fans of the treasured Tasmanian story have gathered in Launceston to reenact the daring drive 60 years on.
Before racing legends like Mark Webber and Daniel Ricciardo, there was Sir Jack Brabham.
He is the only person that has ever designed, built and driven a World Championship car, and I don't believe that will ever happen again. So he was a pretty incredible man.
A 3-time world champion, the motorsporting great left a lasting impression on Tasmania for his interesting arrival at the 1963 Longford Grand Prix.
Jack Brabham was running late for practice, and he drove from Launceston out to Longford, and it was something that I suppose you can't imagine today, a Grand Prix car driving on the roads.
Driving from Launceston straight to the start line in Longford was a special sight for locals. Marking 60 years on, fans of the Formula One star are reenacting the route with Brabham's original trailer in tow.
We're going to be terming it the drive, and we'll certainly be doing this every year now from now on, just pre the Longford Motorama.
And I guess that's the thing with this car. You know, people immediately associate it with Jack. You know, it's great to have been a part of creating that.
Also a bit of a thrill for driver and builder James Kirkland, the first to navigate the replica of Brabham's BT Repco race car on the road.
It's an awesome car to drive. Huge power, huge noise, and pretty scary.
This replica of Sir Jack Brabham's 1963 race car was years in the making, with builders saying fitting everything into such a small space was the main challenge.
It was the last of the space frame cars which has been constructed out of tubular method. It's an essence of what Jack had back then, basically.
The history of the drive will continue to power on, with the motor already running on next year's event. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
There was a regatta of a different kind in Launceston today, with the Soggy Bottom boat race taking place at Cataract Gorge. Crews battled it out to make it from one end of the pool to the other in their cardboard boxes. Speed isn't a factor, simply staying afloat was the goal.
Struggling to stay afloat in a soggy bottom boat.
This is why we listen to engineers.
The quirky Launceston Regatta sets sail at the iconic Cataract Gorge for the first time, drawing in dozens of keen sailors.
Cataract Gorge has been wonderful. It's such an open area. Lots of people that didn't know it was on are hanging around. A lot of people are coming along with their boats, but the focus of it is having fun.
Clever cardboard creations attempting to defy the odds to stay afloat. For some, it was smooth sailing. This mother-son duo, the only team to make it to the end and back without capsizing.
I didn't expect it to float or be up. I thought it would just sink straight away.
This is amazing. This is going to be a memory forever, isn't it? This is great. Molly and son.
A last-minute entry for the pair.
We thought, OK, let's go dumpster diving, find some boxes.
For others, sinking ships was the name of the game.
It was fun. We started sinking, like immediately. We took on a lot of water. We did not last very long.
An entertaining day for spectators on the ground and up above.
Look, it didn't go as well as expected, but I think once we realised that we weren't going to be able to row, we just had to finish the race. We walked and held the boat over our heads, dragged it the whole way.
The rules of the race are simple.
They just have to be able to float and be able to be paddled, and that some of them don't get to the other end, so they get a soggy bottom.
The free event also acting as a fundraiser, with donations going towards JCP Youth and Diabetes Tasmania, offering up some fierce competition while having some fun in the sun. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's biggest truck run has celebrated its 40th year while raising funds for an important cause. More than 100 impressive rigs took to Launceston streets before heading towards the Longford Showgrounds. Old and new trucks, along with fire trucks and vehicles of the vintage sort, combined with the Royal Flying Doctor Service for the fundraiser, delighting those who watched on.
The tracks were really cool. I liked it. Yeah, it was really fun. I loved the honking.
Organised by the Tasmanian Truck Owners and Operators Association, the event raised funds for the RFDS. Hobart has turned up the heat for the Holi Colour Festival. The council chipping in $20,000 for the celebration of Nepalese culture. Attendees entertained with food, stalls, music, show rides and coloured powder.
Just celebrating it just because we want to know our culture and we want to give it to the future generation.
It's a beautiful part of the world, and like to be able to have those different cultures here, different kind of food, different kind of religions. It's good to get to know those.
The festival will run until 9 o'clock tonight with a fireworks display to send the celebrations off with a colourful bang. Replacing tyres with sneakers, thousands of runners have taken over the Tasman Bridge in a unique battle of the sexes. A Ugandan team, fresh from the World Athletics Cross Country Championships, making a clean sweep of the top 3.
Locked and loaded in this year's Think Big Run the Bridge race, female competitors firing off with a 3-minute and 55-second head start.
And we're away, so hopefully we're going to see really early on that they're going to set a good tempo.
19-year-old Priska Chisang showing no mercy, leading the race from start to finish, clocking 32 minutes and 34 seconds.
And Priska Chisang will do it for the girls.
It was not easy, pushing a lot from the start, and the course was hilly, sloping, but I'm happy.
Priska's Ugandan teammates Kenneth Kaprop and Dan Kabet hot on her heels throughout the event.
When I was seeing Priska, my mind came to, you must get Priska.
The males striding in sync up until the last kilometre when Kaprop dropped the hammer.
And here comes the move though. Boom, did you see the injection there?
The teenagers stopping the clock at 28 minutes and 47 seconds. Kabet just 13 seconds behind.
The fans were really cheering and we were really putting it a good kick to finish the lane.
Meanwhile, James Hansen was the first Tasmanian to reach Princes Wharf 1, taking 6th place in just under 30 minutes.
Now in its 14th year, the Think Big Run the Bridge is Australia's richest 10-kilometre road race, with $8,000 awarded to the first person over the finish line.
It just makes it really exciting, not just for the first people across the line, but then for a couple of minutes we see men and women battling it off, having really unique sprint finishes.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
In domestic cricket, another strong century for Caleb Jewell wasn't enough to help the Tasmanian Tigers chase down Western Australia in day 3 of their Sheffield Shield clash. Needing just 80 runs to take the win, the boys from the west couldn't be slowed down, sending our Tasmanians home to lick their wounds.
He'll capitalise on that. He has lashed a short wide ball through the offsides for 4. That'll feel really good.
The thumping 9-wicket victory puts the Tigers down to 5th place, ending hopes of contesting the Marsh Cup final. The Hockey Roos have tasted sweet victory in Hobart last night, with a late strike helping them overcome the USA in their final match of the Pro League mini-tournament. Amy Lawton was the one to step up for the side, putting on a spectacular display to seal the contest.
Lawton scores! Amy Lawton, they're going upstairs here, the USA.
The event wraps up tonight in Hobart. Both sides are now heading overseas to continue their campaigns.
Good evening. Hobart 29 today, Launceston 28, Devonport 23 and Burnie 24 degrees. The high today was recorded in the south of the state at Grove and Bushy Park. That was 30 degrees. Flinders Island 28, 27 at St Helens, Luncheon Hill and the Friendly Beaches 25, 23 at Maria Island, Low Head 22, King Island and Strawn 21 and 19 for Lyowini. Here on the satellite image we can see a cloud band embedded with thunderstorms moving away to the east. There is an area of very low cloud through the Bass Strait and patchy cloud about the remainder of the state. A cloud band is moving across South Australia and Victoria, heading toward Tasmania. A broad area of cloud and thunderstorms cover northern Australia. Tomorrow, a cold front crosses Tasmania in the early morning, followed by another approaching the state in the evening. A low persists over the Gulf of Carpentaria, extending a trough over northern WA. Winds northwesterly 20 to 30 knots about the northwest, extending throughout during the morning, reaching up to 35 knots about the south, swells between 0.5 metre and 3.5 metres around the state. A gale warning is issued for the southeast coast and southwest coast, and a strong wind warning for most of the north and central west and entire east coast, including Flinders Island. Showers easing in the south tomorrow, Hobart 22, Dover 21 and Ouse 20. Showers easing in the north, 21 in Launceston and Devonport, Scottsdale 19. Burnie, showers easing 19, showers and becoming windy at Strawn 18, similar conditions at Stanley 20. Showers easing at St Helens and Ross 22, and Swansea a shower or two 23 degrees. The UV across the state tomorrow is high 7s. Looking ahead to Tuesday now, showers more persistent about the north and west, with possible thunderstorms contracting to the west during the morning, and snowfalls down to 800 metres in the south during the evening. Wednesday, showers about western, southern and central areas and the Bass Strait Islands, the chance of a shower elsewhere. Snowfalls to around 800 metres in the south, rising during the afternoon. And Thursday, showers about western, southern and central areas and the Bass Strait Islands. A sunny day ahead for Perth tomorrow, 29, 23 in Adelaide, a shower or two, and Sydney sunny and a whopping 38 degrees. Right now it's partly cloudy across the state, Hobart 25, Launceston 22, Devonport 19. And no funny jokes from me tonight, Murph. I wouldn't want to upset the regular weather person.
Well, I can tell you Carmen, he is getting upset, mainly because he had to work a whole hour instead of his usual 2 minutes. But time is up. Thanks for joining us. Good night.